Hello and welcome. What do I say next? To Effectively Wild. No, that's not what I said.
Leave it in.
Well, it's moments like these that make you ask, how can you not be horny about baseball? Every take hot and hotter, entwining and abutting, watch 'em climb big mountain. Nothing's about nothing, every stitch wet with sweat, breaking balls backdoor me on Effectively Wild. How can you not be horny? When it comes to podcasts, how can you not be horny?
Hello and welcome to episode 2455 of Effectively Wild, a baseball podcast from FanGraphs presented by our Patreon supporters. I am Ben Lindbergh of The Ringer, joined as always by Meg Rowley of FanGraphs. Hello, Meg.
Hello.
We are joined by a trio of guests who are not always with us, but we are always happy when they are. A couple of your FanGraphs colleagues, one Michael Baumann. Hello, Mr. Baumann.
I don't think you're always happy when I'm here.
I am. We might have this little combative dynamic going, but it's based on mutual affection and respect.
Speaking of mutual affection, I would like to thank Anton, who emailed you my recitation of the musical compositions I made the last time I was on here. So.
What we were referring to is when you made a Travis Kelce / Taylor Swift inspired Effectively Wild lyrics, and they have been set to music. This pod should come with a parental warning.
You're about to have your world rocked, my friend.
Getting all hot and bothered here.
He makes all the dicks before seem timid and mild when he bends me over and goes effectively wild.
I'm effectively wild in the bedroom.
He's known to be wild and he's good with the glove. With his fingers and his teeth, he's tearing off my garters, saying, I'd like to thank a couple of our Patreon supporters.
Just leave it all up to the imagination.
Woo! Physiological and sexual prowess of my man's effectively wild. He's got me screaming with a purpose. I get on top. He does a stat blast on my cervix.
Well, now you've put more pressure on me. Is that it? You have more for me? Also with us from FanGraphs is other Ben Clemens. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Ben. How's it going?
Do you have any Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift inspired lyrics to share with us today?
Zero, but I do have a game that we're going to play during the draft, so that's fun.
Is it the 2026 Effectively Wild preseason predictions game?
No. I guess this is a great time to announce it. My predictions have a hidden theme, and if you guess them, you'll get a guest subscription to the website.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, my God. We have an ARG inside the game. Wow.
Chris, not everybody plays Magic. You got to remember, buddy.
At me on Blue Sky, perhaps? Is that the right way? The first person to figure it out will get it?
That's one way. Or you could email us at podcast@fangraphs.com maybe, and I will forward to other Ben. The interloper who just chimed in before he was announced on this podcast goes against every rule. Don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Whoa.
It's Chris Hanel, Effectively Wild. A scorekeeper, a statistician. I don't know which official title you prefer, but you're welcome one way or another.
I'm allowed to talk now?
Yes, now you
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
You have been introduced.
Yay. I'm so glad to be here for what is my favorite day of the year in many ways, and for many listeners as well, I am told.
Yes, this is Chris's Super Bowl. A lot of preparation goes into this, a lot of post-podcast work on his part, and the part of the Effectively Wild stats team goes into this. So it's all been building up to this, and it will all continue to build after this as he tracks all of our predictions throughout the year. It is an exciting time. This is our fourth annual preseason predictions game. Yes, we have all aged. Time has passed.
I'm close to running out of things to predict, Ben.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah, we tried to avoid repeating ourselves, but it's hard to be as fresh and creative and original as we have tried to be in the past. But we'll do it again. We'll see how it goes. And I always think that it's the bold preseason predictions game or the preseason bold predictions game, but that's not officially in the title. It's just implied that the predictions will be bold. Even for me, I will do my best to be bold. And this is a really fun exercise for us, also for our listeners every year, because there is a major listener participation component.
Indeed.
We could do this without you, technically, but we'd prefer not to. It wouldn't be as fun if we did.
Wouldn't be the same.
No, not nearly. And so we hope that you will all participate, and Chris will explain what exactly we are participating in here. But Baumann, I assume that you have come prepared with a pre-predictions game of your own?
Yeah, we're going to try to keep this moving quickly because it's about people who move quickly. Ben, today's game is college baseball player or driver in a Formula One support series. So these are minor league racing drivers, essentially. There are a number, Formula 2, Formula 3, and so on, who are like the undercard races for F1. And these are the Formula One drivers of tomorrow. At least that's the idea.
Okay, I was going to say I know a little bit more about F1 than I used to, which was nothing because I have kind of covered it in a professional capacity on Hang Up and Listen from time to time, but our coverage has not extended to the minor leagues of F1. So I don't think I will know these names, and I won't know the college baseball names. So
we'll see.
Just firing in the dark here, but fire away.
Name number 1 is Colton Herta.
See, Colton sounds more baseball coded to me, but that last name sounds maybe more F1-ish. So I'm not sure which way to go, but I guess I'll stick with Colton being a baseball name, and I'll guess college baseball player.
No, he is the driver for the high-tech Formula 2 team, former IndyCar race winner, and Cadillac reserve driver for the F1 team. Ben, when we worked together, I wrote a big feature article about him as one of the potential next Americans in F1.
That's embarrassing for me. But
you don't read any of my stuff, man.
I read much of your stuff, but I may have missed the F1 prospect piece, I will confess. Did this go into your thinking at all that Colton sounds like a baseball name? Okay. So you are actually trying to trick me here.
Not only that, but this is a guy who you could plausibly have heard of in your limited capacity as a sports generalist. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to shoot the moon and get one that maybe our listeners might have.
If that was my best chance, then that does not bode well. Yeah. All right. Continue.
You always figure out the rhythm before I do. So number 2 is Gianno Morlonghi.
Are you refusing to spell? Can I get you to spell?
GINNOMERLONGHI.
Okay. See, now it's almost the opposite, where that I would say F1. And so I'm going to guess that you are trying to flummox me again, and I'm going to say college baseball player.
He is a college baseball player. He's an outfielder for Central Connecticut State. Number 3, Paris Pridgeon. Paris Pridgeon.
Paris Pridgeon. There's some chance that I would have heard of someone with that name in college baseball. It just seems like a memorable name and does not ring a bell, so going to go F1.
No, Paris Pridgeon is an infielder for Austin P. The Austin P Governors. Let's go P.
Is that the actual slogan?
Yeah. Number 4, Peyton Westcott.
Peyton Westcott. Wow, this sounds so preppy, so aristocratic. I'm torn on this one. I guess I'll go F1.
Yeah, Peyton Westcott, she is an F1 Academy driver.
Threw me for a loop there. Okay.
For Prema Racing and in the Mercedes F1 ladder.
All right.
And the last one, Titan Kamaka.
Titan Kamaka. See, Meg's giving me extra information here because
I'm just delighted by the name. I'm giving you no information other than
if I'd gone in cold, I would have guessed like AEW wrestler.
I'm just thinking, yes, true. But I'm just thinking Meg is more likely to have heard of a college baseball player than I am. And it sounds as if this might be new to her too. So I'm going to go either way. I won't attribute this to Meg chiming in, but I'll go F1.
No, Titan Kamaka is an infielder at Mercer, where he's currently hitting over 500.
Had you heard of Titan Kamaka, Meg?
No, I really just was delighting at the name. Titan Kamaka.
I feel good about this. I feel like you had gotten a beat on me recently, Ben.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
read you this time. Yeah. How many did I get? 2?
2.
All right.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take 2. I'm just happy to get on the board on any of these, really. That's once I get 1, the pressure is really off. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased with the outcome of this. We'll see if I will be equally pleased with the outcome of our flagship game today, our main attraction, which is not to suggest that people don't come to hear college baseball player, or because I know that's a big draw too. And I will just say one thing that I wanted to apprise Meg of, though she may already be aware. And
What's that?
I hesitated to bring this up on the podcast because by bringing it up, I am potentially making it harder for you to win this auction yourself because
Okay.
I'm creating many potential bidders. But the espresso machine slash
They're auctioning
No.
the
espresso machine.
Shouldn't that go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
right?
it be a Hall of Fame Nespresso?
That
Yes.
should be on display in like the Italian consulate in Washington.
Everywhere that there is a statue of Christopher Columbus, tear
Yeah.
it down and build a platform to temporarily display
Yes,
the
just
Nespresso machine.
erect this coffee machine at Columbus Circle, just
Yeah.
high on a pedestal where you could barely see it from the ground. But no, it is true. They are auctioning this thing off.
That's a crime.
I guess it's a crime, although it's also ostensibly for a good cause. So there's
Oh,
that.
Okay.
But-
What's the
but-
cause?
But
Let
still,
let
let's
me
see.
be the judge of that.
Yeah, you'll evaluate whether this is a
Yeah.
sufficiently good cause. It says all net proceeds from this auction will benefit the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center.
Okay.
Does that
Okay,
pass
that
muster
is a
for you?
good cause. That is
Okay.
a good cause. Yeah,
Yeah,
unequivocal
yeah.
on that one.
Well, maybe whoever wins the bidding will donate it to the Hall of Fame or put
They
it publicly
should-
on
oh,
display. It'll be like,
yeah.
you get Shohei Ohtani's milestone baseball or whatever, and then you display it in a glass case with a bunch of security guards around. So I almost want to ask you to guess what it's going for right now. I'm not sure exactly when it started, but as we speak, there are 4 days about remaining in this as we record here on Thursday afternoon.
When did it open?
March 17th. So that was Tuesday, early Tuesday morning.
Okay.
And it closes on the 23rd.
I'm going to guess $10,000.
Not quite. It
Okay,
could get there. It
I'm
could
gonna
get there.
guess
There's time.
$8,000.
This is what you would pay, I think, but this is
No.
not what the market currently is. But there's plenty of time. We know, auctions, like there will be a flurry of bids.
Right,
I don't
right
think
at the end.
it's not at all unrealistic that it could end up there because, in fact, there have already been 46 bids, but the bid increments are $10. So it stands right now as we speak at $1,130.
Oh, okay. So here's what I'll say about this, and I'm going to reveal myself to be a particular kind of snob. I appreciate the sentimental value of the espresso machine, but can't we do better than Nespresso pots? Like, I'm just saying.
Right. Yes, you did say you wanted a fancier machine next time around.
That's how
but-
you know these guys are Italian American and not
Right.
actual Italian.
And not actual Italians.
Did you guys read Hannah Kaiser's story
Yes.
on the Italian guy? You say like he wants 6 Italian-born players on the next WBC team is like an interstitial measure. I think getting a proper espresso machine should count as one of those 6 players.
As I said on our last episode, I think that they should just have a barista in the dugout, and not a branded barista. I want them to go to Italy and find preferably a small Italian man. And I want him to just like blow the socks off of Jack Caglione in terms of like what a good coffee can be. Because I think Vinny probably already knows, but I think, Jack's from Florida. He probably has a culinary education ahead of him, if I had to hazard a guess.
Well, quantities are limited. There's only one of these in the world. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's a mass-produced item, but there's only one that was actually in the dugout. This is not one of those things where they authenticated a bunch of different models or something.
Oh,
they didn't
okay.
swap in a
Yeah.
bunch. I think there can only be one. It's Highlander, and it's the Team Italy espresso machine, but it says that it's authenticated to 3 WBC games, the
Okay.
pool play, quarterfinal, semifinal. And shipping is actually pretty pricey on this thing. If you're not in the continental US, you got to pay $150 to get this thing.
Well, sure, but it's probably going to be someone in the continental
Yeah,
US.
they probably have to hire a private plane and security and
Right.
just like, it's going to be chained to a briefcase that someone is holding in first class or something.
Well, how does it work with shipping something authenticated like that? Like, I could ship you an espresso.
Yeah.
How does it work shipping anything to that part of the world right now?
Right.
God, what a tragedy that would be if the Italian espresso machine was shot down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we can't have that happen. But I do wonder, anyone care to hazard a guess where the bidding will end up? Do you think
There's 4 days left, you said?
4 days left, yeah. And this has been viewed as we speak only fewer than 6,000 times. So I feel like by mentioning it on Effectively Wild, I'm potentially really juicing the bidding here, which I guess is a good deed if you're the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, but not great if you were hoping to just pounce on this thing at the last second.
I think my answer to that question depends on whether or not Meg is going to ask me to borrow money in the next 4 days.
It's like, why weren't you able to buy a house? Well, funny story. I'm going to say more than 5, but less than 10,000.
Okay.
Like more than 5,000, less than 10,000 will be where it ultimately lands. Do you think that they flew it on the charter when they went to Miami? Like, do you think that it got a seat on the charter?
I would think so. Yeah.
I would assume so. Like, you don't want to, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Daniil Medvedev, who almost won the tennis tournament in Indian Wells, flew commercial to Miami and lost his tennis rackets.
What?
Yeah, he tweeted at United.
I would carry them on and just be like, I'll play naked. Like, what are you going to do? This is the most important piece of equipment I'm bringing. I can go to Dick's for the other stuff.
Well, if you play naked, everyone's going to be going to Dick's if Daniil does it, at least. But it says it's sold in as-is condition.
Well,
so,
sure.
Yeah.
One would hope.
They're not going to refurbish this thing.
It?
No, it's going to be covered in all the grime that you would want it to, which adds value, I think. If you restored this somehow, it would actually would remove the value.
But does it have one of the little holographic stickers? That's what I want to know.
It is. It is festooned with stickers, and it does not appear to have been tampered with at all. And the interesting thing is that there are other game-used items, like if Meg wants to pick up another Team Italy item, and they're all going, most of them are going for more than the espresso machine. If you want to get
that's
a
crazy.
If you want to get a game-used jersey that was worn by, say, Jack Caglione or Michael Lorenzen or Francisco Cervelli, it's going to run you much more than this coffee machine currently. The Jack Caglione jersey is at 8,000 plus right now. Now, okay, it's closer to being done. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that they started earlier, because I got to think that
for that,
are they also going
to charity?
Let me check, but it looks like no. So I guess
someone's just pocketing the Jack money.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but this is up for bidding through the MLB auctions site, and yeah, the jerseys are actually closing today. So that's probably why. But it would be wrong if the jerseys went for more than the espresso machine, which was the signature item. And that actually makes me think. So if a Jack jersey is going for 8,000, then I'm probably taking the over on the espresso machine, which sounds preposterous because I don't know what the actual model number of this espresso machine is, but the list price, the retail price for this piece of equipment is, I'm guessing, about what the shipping costs, or probably less.
I think it's a sub $200 model. I'm laughing at Jack jersey look, it's funny. Okay. I have one working brain cell. I'm trying so hard to not have every word that comes out of my mouth laced with just the fatigue and bitchiness.
Well, Meg, you still have a few days to get your bid in if you care to, and we'll see how high that number goes, and maybe we can place a prediction on that at Polymarket now that MLB has partnered with its official prediction market partner. So I'm sure we're all pleased to see that news.
Can I share a fun Meg fact as I choke on water and samosa? I already have a Team Italy jersey, and it's a Pat Venditti Team Italy jersey, and it is one of my most prized possessions. Yeah,
that's great.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay. Well, let's get to our main game here. We have come with some predictions about the 2026 baseball season, and we are about to share them with you, and you are about to weigh in on how likely you think they are to come to pass. And Chris,
yes,
since you're really the ringleader here, you are the originator of this game. You got us into this mess, and you handle all of the administrative details. Would you care to run us through the rules, refresh everyone's, and I'm including myself in that, memories?
Absolutely. All right. So 2026 preseason predictions game. The way that this will work is each of our 4 panelists are going to make 10 predictions about the 2026 baseball season. And they are going to earn points if they come to pass, and they're going to lose points if they do not come to pass by the end of award season, theoretically when the MVP awards are given out in November. How many points they win or lose is based on viewer voting, listener voting. So what's going to happen is you can pull it up right now as you're listening. Go to ewstats.com and you will see a ballot of all 40 predictions that have been made, and you're going to grade them how likely each one of those you think it is, and those will be averaged out to determine the number of points they can win or lose. The less likely that you all think a prediction is, the more points they will gain, and the less points they will lose. And we are adding one more wrinkle to this season. Each of our panelists is going to cast doubt on one of their fellow panelists' predictions. And they will get to take the other side of that prediction. Any points the other person loses, they will gain towards their own point total. So you want to be listening for something that you think listeners will grade as likely, but will still not happen. We will get things underway, and we are going to go by reverse order of last year's contest. So that means our order is Ben Lindbergh, Michael Baumann, Ben Clemens, and last year's winner, Meg Rowley. So, Ben, where shall we begin?
All right. And I should say, I'm glad you're gracing us with your presence for this podcast, because in previous editions, you have not actually participated in the initial podcast. You have joined us on the recap pods where you reveal all the scoring and grading at the end of the year, but you have not been on the initial podcasts. And so by being here, you can immediately chime in. You'll probably mostly lurk as we go through this exercise. But if there are any points of contention, anything we need to clarify, adjudicate, we can do that in real time instead of via frantic post-podcast recordings and maybe and exchanges. And so we can get that all straightened out as we go.
It's all on the record. Let's get going.
All right. Well, I'm going to begin with a challenge system prediction because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has one holstered. So I figured I'd get ahead of it. And I'm going to kind of it's a little bit reminiscent of my prediction from last year, which actually paid off, about that there would be a sarcastic challenge, that someone would tap their helmet, even though there was no actual challenge system in place. And that one did pay off for me eventually. So I'm going to say, and we bantered about this not long ago, Meg, but I'm going to say that the challenge system will incite a bench clearing at some point this season. Now, I'm already anticipating perhaps Chris questions here. I think this is sort of a, you know it when you see it. It will be provoked, sparked by a challenge or by the manner in which a player challenges. Maybe it's their body language as they're challenging. You know, maybe it's what we talked about with Wilyer Abreu, just taking it for granted that he was going to win the challenge and striding down to first base before the ruling was actually relayed. And maybe teams would take offense to that, and there'd be unwritten rules, and there'd be some jawing, and then the benches were clear. Or maybe it'll be about the time when someone does it. Maybe, you know, you're up in a blowout and you challenge and it's considered unbecoming to press your advantage. Something like that. Now, there could certainly be intra-team discord sparked by the challenge system, but that would probably not prompt a bench clearing. Maybe we'll hear about it. Maybe there will be some arguing in the dugout or something. But this is specifically, I think, inter-team. This is one team to the other. And I'm going to say that the challenge just has to sort of spark it.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously there could be additional developments, like maybe someone takes issue with the challenge and then there are words exchanged and then it heats up and then it graduates to bench clearing. I think that still counts as long as it starts with the challenge system.
Can I offer a bright line? The bullpens have to come out.
See, that's bolder. That's bolder than I was going to go. I wonder what percentage of bench clearings also include bullpen clearings. It's not 100. Obviously, a lot of them do, but I don't know. I think that's a slightly different prediction than I care to offer here, and you can score it accordingly. But yeah, I'm going to say just benches clearing, not necessarily bullpens, but there will be general milling about and people will be on the field and there may or may not be tussling. There may or may not be players asking other players to hold them back or demanding that they do. But yeah, that's what I'm going with here. I
will allow it. Okay. I think you're right. I think we'll know it when we'll see it.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to eat those words immediately. But
yeah. Baumann.
Okay, I'm going to go with a prediction that I had to revise actually on the fly. Every National League Cy Young vote getter will either be listed at 6'6" or taller or at 6 foot or shorter.
Oh,
so it was originally every Cy Young NL Cy Young finalist will be of those dimensions, but that actually happened last year with Paul Skeens, Christopher Sanchez, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So I'm doubling down on that trend. It gets you Chris Sale, Spencer Strider, Andrew Abbott, who's my dark horse guy for this year. Jesus Luzardo, Freddie Peralta is listed at 6 foot somehow. So basically everybody but Logan Webb and a few other people. I'm guessing we're going to get my favorite thing in sports, which is a picture of a tall guy next to a short guy.
It's interesting that there's a height gap among the aces there.
But only in the National League.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I guess you have, how tall is Tarek Skubal? 6'3", so he's right,
6'3",
right smack dab in the middle there. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a fun one. And other Ben.
All right. I'm going to start with some, I call it WBC topical stuff. So here's one.
The WBC is complete, right?
You'll see. It's things that are top of mind because of the WBC.
I see.
Very recent.
Yes, but it has concluded, which makes WBC
I promise I saw this Italy thing coming.
You'll see. All right, let's start.
And this is not your theme. You're not giving away your secret theme that it's all WBC.
But some of my predictions relate to things that we were all made aware of during the WBC. So let's start.
And also your theme is not that they're all things that you're predicting about the 2026 season. It's more specific than that.
It might be that, but I won't give you the subscription for that.
Okay.
So you'll have to do better. Right. Okay. On their game on opening day, 6 or more distinct Cleveland Guardians batters will extend their hand, arm, and or bat towards Cal Raleigh in a way that either makes contact with Cal Raleigh or, in the judgment of a neutral baseball observer, invites Cal Raleigh to touch the thing that they extended towards him.
I love this.
I tried so hard to come up with a way to make a Cal Raleigh handshake prediction. This is so good.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I'm also thinking that I will explain why I think my predictions are bold on each of these, because that's kind of what we're doing. I think this one's bold because baseball players aren't good-natured trolls like we are. Like, if baseball players were like me, this would have happened 27 times in the next 3 games. Like, only Josh Naylor, who is a good-natured troll, did it. But the point is, almost everyone didn't. If I were running these teams, if I were these players, this would be a 100% certainty. But no one does this. I really want them to, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm trying to manifest it into the world, but aside from Bo Naylor, who I'm hoping takes something from his brother, I'm guessing that everyone's just going to ignore it, but God, it would make me happy if they didn't.
I think it's the wrong team to do this, because the Guardians are a team of anonymous nobodies managed by a really nice guy. And
that would make it much funnier.
I mean, it would be awesome. It would make it way cooler. But like, if it was the Giants or the Padres or something, I would be slamming this.
I'm with you. I had to work a while on getting the wording right.
Well, now we know that Chris will be watching the Guardians game on opening day, I guess, very closely. It's scrutinizing the video footage from every angle. He'll be zaprudering this thing.
Hey, at least it's not year long.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get someone to attend the game for me and catch stuff that didn't make the telecast, I think.
Yeah, you don't have to go that far, I think. But if this happens, I think we would know because it would be newsworthy. I think it would be reported. So
yeah, but one or two might do it and no one will say anything about it. But if they all do, we're going to know.
I could see one guy doing it, but it's what did you say, 6 of them doing it?
That's 6 or more distinct batters, not the same guy 4 times.
Yeah,
2 others.
which would be a great bid if they all committed to it. But it does seem unlikely and therefore bold. All right, it fits the description. Okay, let's wrap up round 1 here with Meg Rowley.
And I'm closing the round because I won last time, right?
That's right. Yes.
That's the logic behind the draft order.
That is exactly why.
Just to remind
you were
everyone
victorious. You trounced us all. Okay. And therefore.
I'm saying it once and then I'm moving on because unlike some people, view Adrian Brody's approach to speeches as aspirational.
No, it was a nice win. It wasn't historic.
Anyway, I'm going to open with this because I'm a little nervous that it'll get scooped. I think that I'm predicting that Connor Griffin will break Mike Trout's rookie F-WAR total of 10.1 WAR.
Oh, spicy.
This is bold. This is so bold record. Mm-hmm. And by a guy, who had time in the majors the year before. We don't even know for sure Connor Griffin's making the opening day roster, folks, which suggests that he might have to do this in less than a full season. But also, the neck is so big. It's just an enormous neck. And he's incredibly talented. So I'm going with Connor Griffin, more than 10.1 WAR. And wow. Chris, just to reiterate, I am specifying FanGraphs WAR.
Oh, yes.
Were you in the room when he came by when we were at the combine?
I told the story on 7 different podcasts. I was so happy.
It's the biggest neck I've ever seen on a child.
It's the biggest neck Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you to verify my experience because when he walked in the door to talk to you, I was relieved that I have at least enough social skill to not go, oh my God, your neck.
And it's a combination of the neck and tiny ears.
Yeah, he does have small ears. You're right. He's sort of like Bryce Miller has really small ears, Have you ever noticed that?
Who was there was an NBA player with really, really tiny ears back in the 90s. I'm not going to pull it, but
I'm glad you included the condition for a child because I was going to say there's a bodybuilder who's known as Neckzilla. And I think Neckzilla comfortably has a bigger neck than Connor Griffin. But
yeah, I'd have to see what it was like when he was 18. But all these 18-year-olds are 6 inches taller than me and gigantic. But
except for Weatherholt.
Yeah, he was little.
All right, that's a fun one. We do 10 of these each? Is that what we do?
So many.
All right.
So many.
This is one, I think, also because Chris keeps the voting open until first pitch, right?
Yes.
And
I should clarify. We're doing real opening day.
Oh,
right.
okay. Real
Thursday.
Opening day. Thursday.
Yeah. We're doing when everyone
Get out of
starts
here,
playing.
Giants, Yankees, everyone's.
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't
Good to know. Yeah, I was going to say that at some point over the period between when this podcast is posted and first pitch, there will be clarity as to whether Connor Griffin is making the Pirates opening day roster, which will, I suppose, skew things a little, the early voters versus the late voters, but probably not that much.
Probably not that much.
Because this is still super bold either way.
It's so bold.
Yeah.
It's, it's really bold.
It is.
But Chris, I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Magic, by the way. Magic is cool. I'm just saying not everyone plays it. I felt like I was kind of rude before.
An ARG has nothing to do with Magic the Gathering, but I appreciate your concern.
But you know what I mean? It's like they're friends. The whole thing is friends. So I felt like I was a little rude and I felt bad about it. I had to say so.
I also just want to make a plea and appeal here because, people will probably be listening, I hope, to this whole thing before they vote. And maybe I will repeat this plea later. But I hope people, in the spirit of the exercise, do try to actually assess the likelihood of these respective predictions because they're always too high, which I guess goes with the territory, and maybe it's fine because it's all relative anyway. But we are always sort of surprised by how not bold we are judged to be. And we always feel like we were bolder than the crowd says. And it's like, you don't want to just, zero out every prediction. Like, you want to have some fun here. I get that. But also, some of these are going to be extremely unlikely. So keep that in mind.
Keep it in mind.
It's just generally inflated across the board, which is fine for the purposes of the game. But I want credit for how bold we're being. That's all I'm saying. All right. My second prediction is one that I toyed with making on last year's episode, but I decided not to because the time was not yet ripe. And it's probably not ripe now, but it's riper. And here it is. You're going to hear the first part of this prediction. You're going to say, Ben, that's not nearly bold enough, but it will get bolder. Shohei Ohtani will win the National League Cy Young Award. And if he does, I guess that'll screw up Michael's prediction too, right?
Unless he grows.
Unless he grows, but he is merely 6'4". But that part is not especially bold. Okay, the odds aren't in favor of that happening, but he's a leading candidate, and he has said that he wants to do it. He has set his mind to doing it, and who are we to bet against Shohei Ohtani doing something he sets his mind to? Here's the twist. He doesn't win Most Valuable Player. He wins Cy Young, but he does not win MVP. How could this happen, you're wondering? Well, probably it couldn't, is the answer. But there are some scenarios where it could happen. One is that in a reverse of the situation we've had in the past where he could hit but not pitch, he sustained some injury that prevents him from hitting but not from pitching, which is unlikely, but possible. And we actually had a listener email about this on episode 2107. And I consulted Glenn Fleissig at the American Sports Medicine Institute to ask what would be some sort of injury that could presumably prevent him from hitting, but allow him to continue to pitch. And he said that there are some possibilities. So, and I was mentioning this too on the podcast, like if he had some issue with his left arm or wrist, like his non-throwing arm, something that wouldn't prevent him from wearing a glove while he's on the mound, but would prevent him from rotating his hands, his arms comfortably, his wrists, whatever. So that could be something. And Glenn Fleissig said, I certainly can see a hypothetical situation where a person can throw but not bat. For instance, certain injuries in the lead arm or in the trunk may prohibit batting, but be okay in throwing. And from time to time, we see something like that with a pitcher, or we used to when pitchers hit, when they were instructed not to, as Sam Miller memorably wrote once. So I think that could happen. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen because I want him to hit too. But that's one possible way that this could pay off for me. Another is that Connor Griffin has the best season ever, maybe, and Meg's prediction comes true, and everyone just wants to give him the MVP, and there's a little voter fatigue maybe when it comes to Ohtani, and we want some new blood here, and maybe even if Ohtani has his best pitching season, he has a little bit of a down year offensively, and so that feels kind of like a letdown, and so someone else just has an amazing year, and he actually doesn't have the overall WAR lead somehow, or it's close enough that there's a desire among the voters to give that award to someone else. So that's what I'm going with here. And this is the first time really that he has been unconstrained entering a season since 2022. I guess 2022 is the only MLB season in which Ohtani has just gone wire to wire as a two-way player and hasn't started or finished compromised in some way. And he's been pretty explicit about the fact that he's going for it and he wants to be the first NPB player, Japanese player, to win a Cy Young award. So that's the prediction.
All right, I've reordered mine. Again, because I feel like it's I don't want to give away where I'm going to use my doubt card, but I'll just read my prediction out. Jake Mangum produces more WAR for the Pirates this year than Connor Griffin.
Ooh.
Now, I think Jake Mangum is a fascinating player, a weird player who probably should be getting plenty of playing time for the Pirates. I love Connor Griffin and his freakish neck. I think he's going to be an incredible big leaguer. But like we had this incredible freak athlete, high school shortstop come up, Bobby Witt Jr. just a couple years ago, and he hit 20 home runs, stole 30 bases as a rookie, and he also had a 294 OBP and finished with 2.3 WAR. And he was 2 years older than Griffin is now. So Griffin could still be like future inner circle Hall of Famer and not be that good as a 20-year-old rookie, assuming the Pirates even bring him up early enough in the season to challenge the Mike Trout WAR record. So I'm shorting Meg's first prediction.
Wow.
Okay. I like that genre of prediction where it's like someone was traded for someone else or someone was signed to replace someone else, and everyone assumes that the higher profile, sexier signing or acquisition will be better than the other guy. It's like Meg's Isaac Paredes will be better than Kyle Tucker prediction from last year, which didn't quite work out, but looked like it might for a little while.
Nick Kurtz one worked well.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. Nick Kurtz, Travis was on it. Yeah. I like that genre. Okay.
Yeah.
Other Ben?
All right. Last WBC one for me, but this is more righting a wrong. I was sad that Kyle Teal got hurt. That was a bummer. So here's one that is that draws off that. Kyle Teal will lead White Sox hitters in WAR despite not finishing in the top 5 for plate appearances among those hitters.
I love that.
Oh.
Why is this bold? It's because of the correlation, right? Like if he has the most WAR, it's often because he batted a lot. And if he didn't bat a lot, he often didn't rack up a lot of WAR. It's kind of like Ben's with the Cy Young MVP, Cy Young not MVP for Ohtani. Like Cy Young and MVP very positively correlated. This one very negatively correlated. But yeah, I don't know. Teal is awesome. I like him. And that was just so sad that he got hurt at like this exhibition on a fun team. That was a big bummer. But I hope he bounces back strongly. And I mean, Munetaka Murakami is our projected leader for the White Sox.
Yeah.
Which is really good reason. I think that makes sense. That's who I would predict. Actually, I guess he's the projected hitting leader, and Colson Montgomery, because of defensive value, gets a little ahead of him. Teal is not that close to those guys. I just think that he's better than advertised, that he will produce more defensive value than we project, and that maybe somehow he will still not finish top 5 among plate appearances, despite that, which is, again, possible.
Yeah, he'll make the most of his plate appearances.
That's what I'm hoping.
Arrive late, but make up for lost time. Okay. Meg.
Neither Aaron Judge nor Cal Raleigh will lead the American League in home runs. Neither of them. If one of them does, then it's not true. They have to both miss.
I get it.
Both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you might think like, hey, Junior Caminero exists. And I would say, yeah, he does. But he hit a lot fewer home runs than those guys. So, it's going to be tricky. There is some boldness. I think it is like a nice hedge for me rooting against something as it pertains to Cal, so that if like it goes badly, I get to have something nice. So maybe this one's just for me.
I wonder what the actual probability of that happening is. I'm not going to look it up.
It's probably very high.
Right. Usually field over, even if it's 2 spectacular guys, is usually going to be higher.
Also,
I'm not going to check on MLB's new prediction market partner to see if that's the case. But I think, that maybe undercuts the boldness, but also it feels hard to envision anyone but one of those guys doing it in a weird way. So, yeah. Okay. All right. I am going to predict that 4 American League East teams will make the playoffs. And this has never happened. We've never had 4 teams from a single division. Technically, I think it couldn't have happened prior to 2022 or whatever. So that doesn't mean that much, but obviously it's still sort of difficult for it to happen. We need the AL East teams to run the table and be better than all of the potential wildcard contenders in the Central and the West. So on the one hand, I believe that as we record on the FanGraphs playoff odds page, each of the top 4 teams in the AL East has a better than 50% probability to make the playoffs, which might make this seem chalky. But if you put it all together, I think the odds are that at least one of them will miss. But I'm going to say that they don't. And I think this is going to be, even by AL East standards, a really strong race and potentially a close and exciting race. And I'm going to say that 4 of the teams, maybe, I don't know how good the race will be, but maybe all the teams that are actually involved in this race will win it by one definition, by making the playoffs.
All right. Ben, you like space?
I do.
So I've got a space launch related prediction.
Okay.
Which is that Artemis 2 will launch before the first regular season batted ball with an exit velo of 117 or more. Artemis 2 has been driving back and forth from the launch pad all winter.
And it's supposed to be April 1st.
April 1st, yeah. This could be off the board pretty soon. Last year, there were 32 batted balls at 117 or more, which felt low to me. I thought there would have been more, but the first came via John Kenzie Noel, possible AL home run leader, on April 13th. So we'll see if the rocket if the moon rocket lifts off before the very first 117 mile an hour batted ball. And the Yankees could make a fool out of me very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was, I think, wise of NASA to schedule this in honor of season 5 of For All Mankind debuting. I think this is a sponsored tie-in. It's not actually, but it is appropriate.
I hope not. I mean, if this was For All Mankind, that thing would blow up. That's
well, I mean, For All Mankind's way ahead of our timeline when it comes to moon base building, but I think
to my everlasting annoyance.
I know, but this is a fun one. I don't know what the typical number of scrubs per launch is, because for those who have not been following this as closely as maybe Michael and I, this is a crewed mission. We're going back to the moon, around the moon.
We're doing Apollo 8 again.
Going really close to the moon.
And so this is significant. This has not happened in a while. And obviously they're always
the next one after this is going to be the moon landing whenever
in theory. Yeah.
They're going up there, but they're not landing.
No, they're just shooting around and coming back, we hope. But
I don't like your tone about that, Meg. I think you're being a little snooty about mankind leaving low Earth orbit for the first time since 1972.
I mean, let's be real. If this was on For All Mankind, it would blow up in air, but they would somehow fix it also in air.
Let's not even suggest that could happen. But look, if we can put a man on the moon, then surely we can
put a man near a moon.
I mean, we're putting a woman near the moon now.
Oh, that's
exactly.
Imagine that.
Okay, back on board.
So
I mean, a lot of you guys have been up there, you know?
That's fair.
It's true. Not as many as I would have liked, but the gender skew has been it's been a bit lopsided. It's true. Another way in which we lag behind For All Mankind. But
I mean, we're gonna get a woman at least 79% of the way to the moon.
Okay.
You're always gonna get some scrubs in these things. If there's so much as a cloud, if there's so much as a gust of wind, you're gonna wait for the
moisture content in the air.
If there's a lightning bolt 90 miles away, if there's some static electricity and someone shocked themselves anywhere near the launch pad, then you're going to scrub the launch because you want to be absolutely certain. There's a lot of expensive hardware at stake, but also, in this case, human lives. And so even though it's April 1st, and hey, I hope it goes off without a hitch, I'm guessing that's going to be April Fool's, and it will not.
This is me being optimistic. I mean, it didn't used to be that way back before NASA went woke. We launched Apollo 12, and it got hit by lightning on the way up, and we still landed on the moon anyway.
And we were fine. Yeah, nothing's ever gone wrong with launches or landings. So I think they will be careful. They will exercise the utmost caution, and that will build in more time for you to have additional hard hit batted balls, is what I'm saying.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Batted ball, does that count foul balls?
Balls in play.
It has to be ball in play. Okay. Yeah. My second thing is the launch window is very wide. And if this ends up happening mid-game, my friend at Baseball Savant is going to be getting a lot of phone calls from me.
That would be thrilling, actually, if it comes down to like a matter of minutes, the difference between the launch and the man. Imagine if the ball goes out while Artemis 2 is clearing the tower.
Yeah, I believe Baseball Savant has timestamps on every single event, so I think I got that. I think we're good.
This will be like the famous prediction, Alvin Dark predicting that a man would land on the moon before Gaylord Perry hit a home run, and then Gaylord Perry hit a home run like minutes after Apollo 11 landed in a nice bit of serendipity. So yeah, maybe it'll be sort of similar to that.
Probably not quite as famous.
Probably not, but it will be among Effectively Wild listeners. Other Ben.
I'm switching to some bold pitching claims. I was at first worried Baumann was going to take maybe both of these, but now definitely not because of their height. So this one, Chase Burns will finish in the top 5 of Cy Young voting. He's 6'3", so we've ruled that one out.
He doesn't look as tall as 6'3".
Yeah. Our predictions can be, I suppose, internally inconsistent, right? We can hedge our bets. Baumann can bank on some mid-height guys winning in a different prediction if he wants to.
Yeah, going into this one, I was actually worried that Michael was going to take a Chase Burns prediction.
I do love Chase Burns. You were correct to worry. So
I moved him up early in my order for that reason, but then I heard your Cy Young one, and I was like, I could have done it later. Why is this bold? Because Chase Burns hasn't pitched in the major leagues yet, and he's not currently one of the 5 best pitchers in the National League. That's pretty straightforward. This is bold because in the natural course of things, he would not, but I think it would be really fun if he did. He's super fun to watch. He is, if there was like a picks to watch list, he would be very near the top of mine. I really like the way I like the cut of his jib. Mm-hmm. So I figured that the right thing to do about that would be to plant a flag.
To be clear, he has pitched in the majors, just inconsistently.
That's incorrect. He has not pitched at the level of a top 5 starter in a major league. He's had flashes for sure.
That's right.
And he looked really good
for
in the
like
minors.
an inning or two. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but he has certainly not established himself as one of the 5 best starters in the National League. I'm not sure he's established himself as one of the best, 50 starters in the National League. Because like you said,
I think he's barely established himself as one of the 5 best starters
on the Reds.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah.
Right. Yeah, we still project him for 8 relief appearances. Mm-hmm. But the point is, it would be sweet if he got top 5 Cy Young votes. And so I'm saying it's going to happen.
Okay. Meg.
Corbin Carroll becomes the 5th 2020 how many 20? 4 20s. 4 20s player in Major League history. That is, Chris, for your note taking, 20 doubles, 20 triples, 20 homers, 20 steals, and obviously totals in excess of any of those at 20 would count for the purposes of this prediction. There have been 4 other guys who have done it. Frank Shuttle in 1911, Willie Mays in 57, and then Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins in the same season, 2007. Mm-hmm. So this is bold because
the MVP year.
It doesn't happen very often. And despite the fact that Corbin is somehow back to DHing after breaking his hamate and having surgery, we don't know how that's going to potentially compromise him in the campaign to come. But he got kind of close last year. So Corbin Carroll.
Frank Schulte. Actually, it might be Schult, not positive. I have heard it both ways. Wildfire Schulte. Yeah,
that's
put
right.
Some respect on Wildfire's name and nickname.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me mispronouncing a name is definitely about disrespect and not me being exhausted.
Okay, back to me. All right, I'm going to make one about the playoff field and the playoff landscape because my gut sense is that we're not going to get a ton of turnover in the playoff field, or at least we're not going to get a ton of what I would label surprise teams. Obviously, if I anticipated them making the playoffs, they would not actually qualify as surprise teams technically. So maybe I will be surprised, but it just doesn't seem like there are that many dark horse candidates or teams that have been bad for a while that suddenly seem ready to make the leap. There are some potential candidates, but I would say fewer maybe than in a typical season. So my prediction is that no team that has missed the playoffs for the past 2 or more seasons will make the playoffs this year. Essentially, no team that has a drought of more than 1 year will end that drought this year. So essentially,
a drought of more than 1 year.
Well, I don't think the drought is going to end either. That would definitely qualify as a surprise team if the Angels make this prediction wrong. But essentially, I'm saying the playoff field will be the same teams as last year with the possible reintroduction of teams that made it in 2024 but missed last year. So that would be if the Orioles bounce back or Braves bounce back happens, if the Mets avoid a collapse, if the Astros make it again, if the Royals make it back. That does not invalidate the prediction, but it does mean that the following 13 teams which have missed for the past couple seasons will continue not to make the playoffs. The Angels, Pirates, Rockies, Nationals, A's, White Sox, Giants, Cardinals, Rays, Marlins, Twins, Rangers, Diamondbacks. So I'm ruling out 13 teams on almost opening day. Take that, Bud Selig. Hope and faith denied for all of you. And this is somewhat bold, I think, because some of those teams are actually pretty good. And individually, I think each of those teams that I'm saying won't make the playoffs doesn't project to make the playoffs, but collectively, it's pretty dicey. In fact, at first I thought about saying teams that made it 2 years ago could come back in, which would allow the Diamondbacks, Rangers, Twins, Marlins, and Rays in the mix, but that's not bold enough. So no, they are excluded also. That's my
big
prediction.
market Ben over here.
Yeah. Yes, and maybe this will bring about a extended work stoppage and a salary cap, and the monkey's paw will curl, and what have I done? But probably not. All right, back to Baumann.
All right. Out of all of the former number one overall picks in the majors this year, the one who will hit the most home runs is Mickey Moniak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mickey Mo.
Remind everyone who the player pool is.
Position players include probably Travis Bazzana, Jackson Holliday, Henry Davis, Spencer Torkelson, Adley Rutschman, Royce Lewis, Moniak, Dansby Swanson, Carlos Correa, and Bryce Harper. That does not include pitchers such as Garrett Cole and Paul Skeens. Skeens, of course, was a position player in college, so maybe he gets the bat out and hits 30 pinch hit home runs. But Moniak, I was writing about this in the positional power rankings for DH, which I think will come out at some point. I hope so. But
It's set to go on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, well, some subtext there. Boy.
No, I'm
You
just
doubting
like,
Meg's
I don't know what day it
capacity
is.
We'll see how
I just
long
know
this
when my
podcast
deadline
goes,
was.
but,
I
yeah.
don't know what happens in the interregnum. I met the deadline.
You did.
That's out of my hands now.
Yeah.
So Moniak was drafted as this sort of on-base, table-setting, contact-hitting center fielder, and he's turned into like a bit of a hacker power guy. And to say nothing of the fact he plays in Coors Field. So he hit 24 home runs last year. The leader among those number one overall draft selections in home runs was Spencer Torkelson at 31. Dansby Swanson, I think, hit 24. Harper hit 27. So Moniak is like right in there. And I think we're like one hot streak away from him being a better home run hitter, at least for one season, than a couple of guys we think of as having like serious power.
Yeah, Coors Field, he's got that going for him. That's fun. I do like the idea of Paul Skeens just saying, I'll do it myself. Just
I've prayed for it every night before bed for the past 3 years, and God is not listening.
Okay, other Ben.
This one is also a pitcher who is between 6 foot and 6'5". And I think this would get him Cy Young votes as well. So I guess I'm just picking against Michael again. Zach Gallen will bounce back big with a season of 150 or more innings pitched and also an ERA of 3.25 or lower. So why is that bold? Because he's almost never done it, even though he's been really good in the past. He's done this once in his career, a very good career. I love Zach Gallen. I was actually sad not to get to make a prediction about Gallen last year. I kind of had a few that I didn't do, so I figured I'd make one, and then he was terrible last year, so it's a little easier. I've written about Gallen a lot, and what I've always said is it's really hard to figure out what went wrong, because always you would look at Gallen and go, well, if you look at the stuff and command and stuff numbers, he should not be succeeding. And then he was. And then he continued to look like he couldn't do it and stopped being able to do it. So I don't actually know how he's going to get back to doing it, but a good pitching Gallen is great. And it's one of those things where it's way more than the sum of his parts, right? He throws like 5 like kind of bad pitches. His best pitch on our models is not very good, but the way that they all work together is awesome. So I invite you all to follow along with Zach Gallen this year. Hope he bounces back, but even if it's not likely, he's super fun to watch. So this is kind of I'll get to watch a bunch of Zach Gallen starts by predicting this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be miffed even, with you picking against my short guys and tall guys thing, but even if I were, I really appreciate how hard you're going for guys from New Jersey in your first couple rounds with Zach Gallen and Kyle Teal.
Yeah, maybe that's the theme. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
I was terrified that I had accidentally stumbled upon it, but
You could get yourself a free FanGraphs subscription. That'd be nice.
no, Ben told me not to guess. So
Okay. All right, Meg.
The Pirates will finish in second place in the NL Central, but will not make the playoffs.
well, how could they with every team from the AL East getting it?
Well, they play in the National
They
League,
play
so that
different-
I
probably.
know. Okay.
I don't know. It's bold. It's the Pirates second place in the Central, even the Central. Come on, why are you're all just stunned that I would predict something like that? You're like, wow, that is too bold, and to make it a compound.
You are FanGraph, and FanGraphs is currently predicting this, I think. Right?
Oh, really?
I think so.
Hey, I was busy editing Michael's DH blurbs for no thanks. No, I haven't gotten to your blurbs yet. Sorry, buddy. It'll come later in the day.
See, I remember questioning the boldness of when you said that the A's would finish second last year, I think. And then that turned out to be fairly bold because they weren't as good as I thought maybe they could be. They kind of salvaged it, but they did not finish second, clearly. So I will withhold my judgment, but
of the boldness.
Yeah.
The funniest outcome in all of this is that the Pirates make the playoffs thanks to 10.2 WAR from Connor Griffin and 11 WAR from Jake Mangum, who wins MVP, preventing Shohei Ohtani from winning MVP despite a Cy Young caliber pitching season.
Now I'm rooting for that.
Well, I have some Pirates predictions too, but maybe
not that one.
Not that one. No, I think. Well, I won't give away anything else. What I think about the Pirates, but okay, I will say that at least 4 players with lowest quartile of first quartile sprint speed steal 30+ bases. So last year we had 2, famously Juan Soto tied for the National League lead, and Josh Naylor, of course, and they both had comfortably first quartile sprint speed, by which I mean, I guess 25th percentile or below. And I guess they could both repeat, but it might be harder this time because they won't really have the element of surprise. I think probably it took teams a while to catch on to, wait, these guys are base stealers now? So it might be harder for them to do that without elite or even average speed. Then again, I guess maybe they learned something from that experience. But I think that they will inspire copycats. So I don't know whether they will do this again. And for all I know, they will say, well, I checked off that box. That was a story I can tell the rest of my life, and I don't need to do that again. But other players who are similarly unfleet of foot will be inspired by their success and will try to swipe 30 themselves.
My 5th prediction. By the end of this season, the website Archive of Our Own. Has anybody heard of this website?
Oh, my God.
I'm already apprehensive about where this is going.
It's a clearinghouse for those of you who are not familiar with it for fan fiction stories. It will have at least 10 entries of erotic fan fiction about Giants manager Tony Vitello, or it will have at least 1 entry of erotic fan fiction about Tony Vitello and 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the famous Tony/Kyle fiction.
Wait, Michael, what if you write it?
Oh, yeah.
He can't write it.
I'm not, I promise I will not do
He
it.
can. The rules specifically state he can, but if he's saying he won't.
We'll never know because
The Tony Vitello, Kyle Shanahan /fic, I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure my gifts in the literary space extend to...
Would you say it's Vitanahan?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think so, probably.
So-
Tanahan.
Chanello is not bad either.
A little peek behind the proverbial curtain. I came up with 9 of these predictions in the past 24 to 48 hours. And this one I've been sitting on since about 10 minutes after the Giants were first rumored to be hiring Tony Vitello. So much so that the Kyle Shanahan was originally going to be Pat Burrell, but he does not appear to still be in the Giants organization.
I really enjoy the fact that I now have an explanation for why your reaction to that hiring, like in copy, was not hornier. Because I was like, this is pretty not horny for Baumann writing on Tony. I'm surprised.
I mean,
by that.
I've interviewed him. Like, I try to be professional about people who I'm gonna encounter at work. Not so on this podcast, I guess, but I'm just banking on there being one super horny 4-team San Francisco Bay Area sports fan with an AO3 account.
Yeah. All right. Well, it'll be hard to establish that this is not some sort of sock puppet, some sort of alt that you have created your AO3 burner, but
you'll have to take my word for it.
We'll have to take your word
make
for
my
it.
solemn vow. However, if anybody out there listening wants to try their hand at it,
Yeah. This is the prediction that's the revenge for the Colonel's baseball player Star Wars universe game from last season.
you don't have to like monitor it, Chris. You just have to go
Just
in
check it
there,
once.
like
Yeah.
you have to check it once.
I've managed to never visit this website, and now that's all over now.
I mean, you're missing out on a wealth of
Apparently.
wonderful fan
Yeah.
fiction. It didn't have to be erotic. I mean, there's plenty of non-erotic,
I mean,
but
Ben,
I just
he
I
did.
think it did. It did
He
have
used
to be
the
a
well,
word.
yes, for you, I knew where your head was going to go, so to speak. But that's why I kind of groaned when you mentioned Archive of Our Own. But I'm just saying,
And I hope people will groan while reading it, so to speak.
God,
that would be the goal, I
Now
guess.
it's too much.
So-
now it's too much.
There are only 3 AO3 Pat Burrell works, which, I mean, to kind of calibrate expectations here, you said 10?
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I mean, there's 3 Pat the Bat entries, and evidently Gabe Kapler, 0 tags on AO3.
Yeah.
That
which
doesn't
says-
surprise me.
That
Gabe
doesn't
Kapler
surprise
is
me
so Gabe Kapler is so orientated towards the male gaze.
Yes. Thank you. Yep.
Which is not to suggest that.
And my
I mean,
sense of Pat Burrell is like, why would you bother writing fiction about
'cause
Batman?
the reality already
Yeah.
just suffices. But yeah, I mean, well, you could have male gaze going on AO3, right? I mean, you're not limiting anything.
That's true. I
so-
don't mean to be sexist about
Yeah.
it. But
We are saying gaze as in to look upon.
yes.
Yes, but it works either way. But evidently,
Just saying. It's
the
a
Gabe
good
gaze,
distinction to draw.
it has not happened. So
People heard the ice cream story with Gabe and they were out. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you
Like
got
that
stuff
gave
you need
them
to
the
work
ick,
on.
I
Gabe,
guess.
Gabe Kapler was the everyone's hot, nobody's horny of big league managers.
Okay, so let me just make sure I have the wording of this correct. By the end of this season, the website Archive of Our Own will have at least 10 entries of erotic fan fiction about Giants manager Tony Vitello, or at least one entry of erotic fan fiction about Vitello and Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
All right.
All right. The problem here is that even if you don't put your thumb on the scale, all that has to happen for this to come true is for one listener to this podcast to write a Vitanahan entry. I mean, then you win, right? So that, I mean,
Fingers
there's,
crossed.
I feel like that's a lock almost. Like someone's going to make that come true for you, I think. It doesn't even have to be good. I mean,
I haven't spent my entire professional career living in mortal fear of your crazy fans to not profit from it every so often.
Hey.
said with affection. Dedicated fans, enthusiastic fans,
Sure,
eager,
Sure. I
affectionate.
apologize. Dedicated is way better.
All I'm saying is as someone who has a pretty good knowledge of what this community looks like, I would move the slider to the right. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I'd say let's let this be a natural experiment. And I mean, I guess the prediction encompasses.
Ben, that's not a bad first line for a Vitanahan fic.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of potential for manipulation here, and the predictions have always, I guess, allowed for that technically, so it wouldn't really be breaking the letter of the law. But I
doesn't
do
it feel
think
like it's not in the
spirit,
spirit of the thing?
yeah. So
I resent the implication. Like, my thumbs are going to be in plain sight all season.
No, I'm not suggesting you. I'm just suggesting a listener.
That's another way that the article could start.
I don't think you could fake it if you try. I think your prose is so identifiable.
It would be like the Unabomber letter.
If you cut it out with magazine letters and mailed it in, I think we would still
All
know.
it would take is a headline, and
Yes,
they'd be like,
it
"Oh,
would
that's
still be a dead
Baumann
giveaway.
joint."
That's a Baumann line right
Yeah.
there. So I don't think you could
That's
fake it
too
if you
far.
tried. I'm just suggesting our listeners, let the experiment play out as opposed to making it come true, so to speak, yourself. Okay.
Yeah, my next ones are about subverting expectations, like getting bolder, is what I'm hoping to do.
Okay.
This one, Marcus Semien will turn back the clock and fight aging by leading all Major League second basemen in defensive innings at second base this year at the age of 35.
I like it.
That's like pretty rare.
Yeah.
That's not really how this tends to work, because when you're old, you don't play as much. That's why it's bold. The reason that it's even worth predicting is that of all the people you could imagine, this is the guy most likely to do it, because he's very durable. He was not in 2025. He was durable for a 34-year-old in 2025, but he did not finish first in defensive innings or even second. He also missed a lot of games, and the Mets have stated that they are going to hope to manage his innings more. So we project him for 149 games this year, which is like the first time it hasn't been 160 in a long time. So it can happen. And yeah, honestly, like, I think this is one of my more likely picks, but it's pretty unlikely, I think, just because he's old. Not because he doesn't want to, but because I think that the team will try to not let him.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ohtani winning the Cy Young. He has the talent, but the Dodgers might skip him from time to time. They're going to want to keep him fresh. He's still a two-way player, etc. So, but I'd say to reduce the perceived boldness, because that's in my best interest. Yes, it's historically unusual for this to happen, I guess, but it's quite common for Marcus Semien to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it as recently as 2024 and 2023 and 2022.
22, but not 2021. He was the guy, and then he kind of hit a bump. So the question is, can he fight the passage of time to regain his previous level?
Right.
On a new team where the replacement level is perhaps higher.
Is this leading all MLB second basemen that they're primary
I
second
specifically
baseman?
said innings played at second base.
So they have to be a primary second baseman and lead at their...
They do not have to be a primary second
They just
baseman.
have to, just innings standing at second base. Yeah. Actually, physically there.
Although to lead this, you will be a primary second
You
base.
will,
like
yes.
Yes, it's true.
But it's not a condition of the projection.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's defensive innings at second base.
Meg.
People were underwhelmed by my Pirates pick, and so now I feel
Well, by your most recent one, the Connor Griffin one was bold.
Yes,
I would have said something, but I was told to lurk.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
Not the you not talking, the you being supportive. I appreciate it. Okay. Michael Garcia will lead the Royals in WAR. Take that. Take that.
Oh, I love this one, Meg.
Thank you. I love
Can
Michael
I
Garcia.
support?
Yeah, it
like,
is.
the opposite of doubt?
See, Chris, I told you that we shouldn't do any new mechanics in future years, but maybe we should have like a thumbs up and thumbs down, like to on each other's ballots. I don't mean this in any way to disrespect Bobby Witt Jr., who like my favorite thing about the WBC. Well, there were a couple of things that were ahead of Witt, but just the early March reminder of how good Bobby Witt Jr. is, amazing, spectacular. But you know what? Michael Garcia is really great. And I think that like the gains he had at the plate last year are real. It does seem like a real change to the swing in a way that's important. And he's such a good defender, as everyone always says. He would just be the Royals starting shortstop. That's hard to say if it were not for the presence of Witt. So I think that he is spectacular in the field. And, he's going to carry the good vibes of the WBC through the whole season. And he's going to outwar Witt. I'm not putting any conditions on how it happens. I would like to say, in the presence of the baseball gods, that this is not me wishing anything bad happening to Bobby Witt Jr. I don't want him to like pull a hammy or decide to change careers.
Injure his wrist while perusing AO3.
Jesus Christ.
Do you think they let the Royals look at AO3? I think they're worried. They're just like,
Not on Dayton Wars watch. Yeah.
It'd be like the Jeff Kent truck washing incident.
oh my God.
I was on AO2.
That's great. That's
During
great.
the Dayton War years, you needed a VPN to access sites like that from Royals facilities, probably.
Yeah, they were very serious. But yeah, Michael Garcia, future Royals WAR leader. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess he only has one guy standing in his way, really. I mean, of course,
it's like
there
a
are lots
big
of other
guy.
Royals too. But yes, like something. The reason why it's kind of a dark prediction is that like something has to befall Bobby Witt Jr. basically,
doesn't. He
or
could
Michael
just be
Garcia.
better.
Michael Garcia is just the best player in baseball. It could happen, and Bobby Witt's as good as usual
to the baseball gods. And you're out here like coming up. He's gonna get struck by lightning. He's gonna become a youth pastor. Not
by
that
far
those are-
the most likely way that this could come true is if Bobby Witt Jr. gets hurt or has a bad year or something.
Maybe
right?
he'll just have a bad year.
He might just have a bad year. Yeah.
He could forget how to field. We haven't seen any recent evidence of that. He looks spectacular in the WBC, but maybe he'll forget, Maybe he'll bump his head After
Wait, here's a much less grim one too. Maybe he'll field just like always, but the models will disagree on how good he is at that fielding.
Yeah. See?
They always seem to, and say that he's terrible this year.
There you go.
No obvious reason instead of great.
See, this is why other Ben's the better Ben, you know? I'm kidding. You're both wonderful.
It's because I got triggered recently by a Michael Garcia breakout prediction. And of course, I've been steaming about that ever since because.
Someone said he was a breakout candidate?
Yeah, because
Ben,
obviously.
No, Ben, save it. I'm not going PPRs.
to. I'm just saying.
We got to keep this moving.
He was by far the second most valuable player on the Royals last year.
Yes.
So, it's the competition is mainly one guy.
But I don't want people to
or maybe Jack will have his breakout.
That's a bridge too far. He could break out, but he's not going to surpass Bobby Witt Jr. If Jack Caglione has more WAR than Bobby Witt Jr. in 2026, then I think Bobby Witt Jr. is dead. You know, I think that might be the only way that happens. No disrespect.
Okay, I will pick. What will I pick? Okay, here's one. There are 9 new Major League managers this year, which is, I think, a record.
That's a
modern era record. I don't think I really even need to stipulate modern era, or I don't know, maybe like the first season of the league, I guess, maybe. But even then, there weren't as many teams. So there are a lot of new managers, is what I'm saying. So my prediction is that one of the 9 new managers will be fired before the end of the season.
That's very good.
And by season, I will include postseason, just like presumably one of these guys is not going to get fired after having made the postseason, but just to allow for, I'm not saying they have to be fired before the regular season concludes. If they're fired the day after or something, that still counts. But one of the 9 new guys will be fired. I guess we could say just by the time we do the recap pod, by the time the awards come out, though, you know, if you're going to get fired, it's probably going to be right after the season as opposed to November or something. But there are a bunch of candidates, right? Because maybe it turns out that hiring a college coach doesn't work out that well. And there is some sort of actual scandal not related to Archive of Our Own. And maybe Tony Vitello crashes and burns. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying there's a little more uncertainty when it comes to a unprecedented hire like that. Could go wrong.
I do like that you're pegging Tony's potential downfall.
Don't say pegging.
I like that you're pegging. Tony, come on, Meg. Phrasing. We're not doing phrasing anymore. But I'm not even saying he's the likeliest candidate. That would probably be Kurt Suzuki, who is, of course, on a 1-year deal and also the manager of the Angels. But, you know, there were some surprising managerial hires, Vitello and Suzuki and you know, Stammen. And there's going to be a Padres sale, probably. Who knows? Maybe they clean house. They bring in someone else. There's a new manager. Whatever. There are 9 candidates. I'm just saying something goes wrong for one of them, and he loses his job.
Munetaka Murakami will have more strikeouts than any member of the White Sox has hits.
This is so mean. I like it so much.
But to who?
Right.
Well, everyone.
Everyone. Yeah, you're right.
Everyone. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Are you doubting Colson Montgomery's capacity to? Well, I guess, I mean, he could rival Murakami's strikeouts, but this is about hits, really. So, yeah.
I just don't think. I mean, like, there are some White Sox players I like.
Kyle Teal.
Well, I mean, he's going to miss some time, but and also he's a catcher.
Yeah, he might have good ratings.
Yeah, but I'm slamming the under on Murakami, and just generally.
I still want to believe.
I want to believe, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think like it could take like a 200 hit season.
I don't want to pour too much cold water on this, Michael, but Murakami is projected for 60 more strikeouts than any White Sox is projected for hits.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, Murakami could actually be pretty good and still have this come true.
Or
he
Murakami
could just be
get hurt.
High strikeout slugger.
Yeah, this is with us projecting for a 120 WRC plus.
Right.
But he could get hurt for sure.
This condition could be satisfied, and it doesn't mean that he was terrible, but
I'm going, so I will say Generally, I'm going a little more conservative this year because I came very close to getting shut out last season.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And that was not a good feeling. So,
yeah, unlike you to pull back a bit, but yeah, okay. Other Ben.
I'm going to go back to the NL Central, because that's a fun division, and say that the leader in the Brewers outfield war will be not Jackson Chourio, international superstar and WBC winner, but Sal Frelick.
Hey.
Who sometimes has at times played full seasons before.
Why wasn't he on Team Italy?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
I really wanted to say international WBC breakout Sal Frelick, and then I was like, that's not true.
That's not true.
It's really disappointing. For some truth in advertising, this happened last year. For outward Jackson Chourio in 2025. I'm not going to try to mislead you that didn't happen, but that was by far the best year of his career. Chourio was, largely considered to have massively underperformed his expected metrics. He is projected to be much better than Frelick this year. And of course, the Brewers would vastly prefer to give, the quantum of playing time to Chourio over Frelick. So
is that the new Bond movie?
But I'm saying, if they have an incremental plate appearance to hand out, Chourio is much higher in their hierarchy, of course, because he's their best player. And they want to be the best player. So I think this is not impossible, obviously. It just happened. But I think it's unlikely just because of, who they are, what the projections are, their ages, and their relative health and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think it would be really fun if it happened, though. I wanted to add that I would still rank Jackson Chourio higher in trade value, but that felt unfair. Because, even if Frelick outperforms him again, people will definitely still think Chourio's better. Mm-hmm. That could happen for 4 years in a row, and I think they'd still think that. But I think it's really fascinating because Chourio has never really quite hit it big, He's okay. He's really interesting. Whereas a lot of the guys in the Brewers kind of have in recent years. But I think Chourio still projects the best by a mile, and I find that fascinating.
James Paxton will pitch an affiliated ball this year.
Yeah.
He looked great in the
too
WBC.
Good not to. Yeah,
he looked
it would be a waste if he didn't.
Really good in the WBC.
Somebody tell Zach Crabb.
I know.
He was throwing heat. The body looks great. Is James Paxton technically retired? I mean, I think he said he planned to retire. I don't know if a transaction went through. Has he not pitched in affiliated ball since 2024? Yeah. Is he made of candy glass? Also, yes. So this is bold, but he also looked so good. He looked so good.
Yeah.
You're telling me that I don't know who I'm even fighting with. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Anyway, James Paxton's going to pitch an affiliated ball this year. Okay, great.
That would be exciting because, I've messaged my former Ringer MLB cohorts, Baumann and Cram and Bobby Wagner, after that star appearance for Team Canada.
So good for Team Canada.
Yeah, because we had a running bit on the Ringer MLB show where Cram always thought that Paxton was going to be great and Baumann always thought that Lance Lynn was going to be great. And there was a Lance Lynn versus Paxton undercurrent, a heated debate going on for years. And usually Paxton would get hurt after Zach got seduced by the whiffs and the stuff. Yeah. And then Baumann would just ride Lance Lynn to his typical 180 innings of pretty good ball.
But enough about fan fiction.
But Lance Lynn has sailed off into the sunset. And
having already dominated the WBC 3 years ago.
That's right.
If anything, James Paxton's just getting there late.
Yeah, it's Paxton's time. Okay, back to me, right? All right. Okay, how about this? I'm going to predict that Justin Verlander will have the best age 43 or older season by a non-Nolan Ryan, non-knuckle/spitballer. And this is specifically for starting pitchers, I should make clear. So he will be the best starting pitcher ever in a single season at his age or older, who is not named Nolan Ryan and who did not cheat Father Time by throwing a knuckleball or a spitball. So
I have questions.
How are you?
Okay.
You have questions.
How are you defining best?
How many knuckleballs would Justin Verlander have to throw in order to invalidate this?
I think, I meant it more as primary regular. If he works in one just for fun, I don't think
Put a
that
number on
invalidates this. I think he'd have to throw 10% or more knuckleballs for him to be a real knuckleballer.
Second, how many times would he have to get caught using sticky stuff in order to not count as a spitballer?
Sticky stuff is okay. Sticky stuff is acceptable. I mean, it's not for MLB, but no, if he uses spider tack or something, go back to the old Astros days, then I think that's okay for the purposes of this prediction. Any other kind of cheating is acceptable.
Okay. So if he takes his shirt off and has the Eddie Harris, like Bartle, Vagisil, that's cool. That's not spitballing.
I don't know that I needed Vagisil to appear on the pod today.
Well, I mean, look, if he were caught with some sort of Vaseline substance and he was, I think even if he was doctoring, if he's not literally spitting, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, if the substance is not produced by his own body and
well, that's not specific enough.
Yeah.
Is Vagisil Vaseline based?
Don't know.
Ben, are we measuring by FanGraphs WAR?
Yeah,
we are measuring by FanGraphs WAR, and we are measuring starting pitching. I'm saying starting pitcher only. So if he were to say shift to the bullpen and become a bullpen ace or something, I guess that probably still wouldn't count. So I'm saying best starting pitcher season. So what this boils down to, basically, the number to beat, because the best starting pitcher WAR via FanGraphs for an age 43 or older pitcher, Nolan Ryan, 1990, 5.2 WAR, and then Nolan Ryan, 1991, 4.9 WAR, and then Jack Quinn, 1928, the ageless Jack Quinn, 4 WAR, but he was one of the last legal spitballers. They banned the spitball, and then Jack Quinn was like, what if I just keep pitching forever, though? You'll never get rid of this thing. And so I think he was the second to last legal spitballer. I think Burley Grimes outlasted him by a year. Yeah, but Jack Quinn was benefiting from the spitball legally, and then Phil Negro comes in fourth at 3.8, the knuckler. So the number to beat, really, that's 84 for Negro, which was not his age, though he looked it at times. That was the year. But Randy Johnson, the big unit, 2008 for the Diamondbacks, before his final swan song Giants year, which it looked like last year might be for Verlander, but no. Randy Johnson had 3.6 FanGraphs WAR in 2008. So that's the number to beat. He has to, I guess, top 3.6. And look, it's a long shot, but I think it's possible because he basically pitched at this pace for half of last season. Like over his last, starting in early June, like his last 15 starts, he was pitching at roughly this pace. So not saying he can necessarily sustain that. He's even older now, but maybe it'll be the fountain of youth, homecoming. He's going back to Detroit. Presumably he'll be pitching in games that matter and for a playoff spot, and maybe he'll be energized by going home again, and he will tap into the old young Verlander and best Big Randy. So that's my prediction. I like that I end all my predictions by saying that's my prediction.
Jack Quinn and Austin Hedges have basically the same career batting average, generally batting line. I just thought you guys might be curious. I saw it on his Wikipedia page and decided I should look this up.
Okay. Baumann.
All right. The A's will give out at least $100 million more in contract extensions this season, meaning before we reconvene.
Okay. I guess this could be imminent. This could happen any day now, maybe. Who knows? This is peak extension season.
If they get Nick Kurtz to bite, they get Shea Langoliers to bite. I don't know who else they have coming up. Leo DeVries. They call him up, say, here's $100 million.
Yep.
There are many paths to victory here.
Leo DeVries looks great in spring. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Justin Verlander looked great the other day, too. He still got it. Okay. All right.
How much older is Justin Verlander than Leo DeVries?
An entire lifetime.
Yeah. One Leo DeVries,
More than one Leo DeVries.
Justin Verlander is Leo DeVries' grandfather.
It's Leo DeVries' dad.
Okay.
Right,
back to Ben.
Okay, we're going increasingly bold now. Kerry Carpenter will post the weighted runs created plus of 120 or higher against left-handed pitching.
That is bold.
Okay.
I mean, this is like insane. This hasn't really happened.
No more Mr. Platoon for me.
I mean, if you want that, you should probably put some money down on Kerry Carpenter for AL MVP.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
In like 10 plate appearances.
Well,
do you need a plate appearance minimum?
Yeah.
Why don't we look at his actual past years? His actual highest before is 89. He's never come close to this. Yeah. And the most he's gotten in a year is, why don't we say minimum of like, I don't know, 50?
Okay, yeah, just as long as we're ruling out.
I don't mind getting proven wrong, but he
gets a hit on opening
50,
day and then he gets hurt or something. Yeah.
He's topped 50 more often. Why don't we say 40? Because he's topped 40 more often than not, it looks like.
Okay.
And he doesn't bat that much against lefties anyway. But this would be like wildly out of character for him. He is Mr. Platoon. His career batting line against righties is scintillating 140 WRC plus, like MVP candidate. And his career WRC plus against lefties is 70. It's not very good. He's not very good at this.
I understand the platoon advantage, but like, how does that mess you up that much?
It's truly shocking. He hits for no power at all, like against lefties. He doesn't strike out less or walk. He strikes out less against lefties and walks the same amount, and he's this much worse. Like, the true talent split might be worse.
Is he like blind in his right eye or something?
Maybe he has keratoconus, like Tommy Pham. That definitely messed with Pham's ability to see some types of pitches for a while. But it's wild, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, 120 WRC plus or higher and a minimum of 40 plate appearances against left-handed pitching for Kerry Carpenter.
Love it. Okay.
Wow.
All right, Meg.
Bryce Terang will finish in the top 5 in NL MVP voting.
Oh.
I like that one a lot. I've heard enough times in the last week that he's incredibly underrated and not enough people have seen him to think that he's no longer underrated. He's properly rated.
Was John Smoltz one of those people who told you, though? Because that's going to make me feel bad about myself.
Absolutely. But I think John Smoltz had never seen Bryce Terang before he walked into the USA
He barely
locker
paid attention to him while he was on the field in all likelihood.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're good there, actually.
Okay.
He was like, wow, this guy's great. Holy crap.
The thing about Smoltz in the WBC was that I was like, do you have any idea what the end of your sentence is before you start it? Like, just like the trailing off for a minute.
I don't think he does, yeah.
Coming back, I was just like, buddy, what are we? Surely there's golf to be played.
That can be entertaining in some hands or mouths, but less so in Smoltz's.
I was begging when he specifically said that he likes Arise more than guys who hit the ball 120 miles an hour but strike out 150 more times, that he would just continue the thought long enough for Aaron Judge to bat.
Yeah.
like in the same game.
Yeah.
But it got lost somewhere in translation.
It did. It did. But yeah, like I think that I think Terang's pretty good. You know, I think he's pretty good. Although he was like kind of flub prone in the field in the WBC in a way that I was kind of surprised by.
He had a rough 2025 fielding, I remember, from my voting, but I still think he's great.
Yeah, I still think he's good. And I think he'll finish in the top 5. He was like a top 15 vote getter, I think, last year. So we got some votes, but I think he's going to make a big leap and people are going to be like Bryce Terang. And then we're all going to have to remember how to spell Bryce. All the Bryces, all the Garretts.
Yeah, I do better with Bryce's than with some of the others.
Zach is the one for me.
Yeah, Zach's
Oh, yeah,
always tricky.
Zach's.
Yeah.
Should just lop off the 4th letter in all the Zachs and just make them all Zach.
I am going to do one of my Pirates predictions, and it'll be kind of the polar opposite of the Verlander prediction, an old pitcher prediction. This will be more of a young pitcher prediction. And I am going to predict that the Pittsburgh Pirates amass the most WAR by starting pitchers. Now, there are going to be a few qualifiers here, but brace yourself. The most WAR by starting pitchers 30 or younger who never pitched previously for another team. So they are career Pirates. And I'll say in at least half a century. That's it. I wish I could do it like divisional era or something, but it doesn't quite cleanly match up that way. But I'm going to say in more than half a century, they will have the most starting pitcher WAR amassed by pitchers 30 or younger who never previously pitched for another team. And so the number to beat here basically is 18. 18.0 FanGraphs WAR, Thank you to Michael Mountain, Patreon supporter, for stat blasting this for me. I will share a spreadsheet for anyone who cares to see it. But the 2018 Mets accrued 18 WAR from Jacob deGrom, Zach Wheeler, Zach with a K, Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz, Seth Lugo, Matt Harvey, Chris Flexen, Drew Gagnon. I don't even remember how to say.
Gagnon.
Gagnon. PJ Conlin, Corey Oswalt. They had a whole lot of guys. Some of those guys got negative WAR, but that counts. And some of those guys, things didn't go great for them after that year.
Nothing bad ever happened to any of those guys after that.
Yeah, I had season tickets to that team. What happened next, Ben?
Yeah. Well, look, they had some good homegrown guys. And I'll look up sometime what befell them after that. But the Pirates have a whole lot of candidates to do this. Obviously, it starts with Paul Skeens, who could get, if he really goes off, he could get me almost halfway there himself. Who knows? But really, it's just that everyone who seems slated to make the Pirates rotation out of spring training is helping me here because they all qualify, I think. You do have Jose Urquidy hanging around. You do still somehow have Mike Clevenger hanging around. But it looks like, as we speak, it looks like the rotation is going to be all homegrown guys. It's going to be Skeens and Keller and Bubba Chandler and Braxton Ashcraft and a Baumann favorite, I believe, right? You have
Carmen Majinski?
Yes. You love your Majinski. So
Go Cox.
Carmen Majinski might have the inside track
did
on.
Did you tee me up for that just so you wouldn't have to try to pronounce his name?
Maybe partly, yes. But I can't say that I knew he was a cock. But hey,
Jared Jones is due back.
And Jared Jones. And Jared Jones would count. And Hunter Barco, who's actually pretty good, I think. And and Thomas Harrington is around. Like, there are a lot of guys who could help me satisfy this prediction. It's just a matter of, will they be good, basically? And, obviously some of them will be innings limited, but if the entire rotation is composed of guys like this, then the innings have to come from somewhere. I guess they could come from the bullpen. So that's what could hurt me here. Whether or not these guys get hurt, they might just not have the innings, but there's so many of them who could satisfy this condition, and they seem good. And I want to believe that the Pirates can just have a great, just all homegrown, nasty rotation, because that would be fun for everyone and most of all Pirates fans. So yeah, I'm going to say that they do this. And I said more than half a century, basically, because I guess, prior to that, you had the 1973 Cubs, who had 19.1 WAR with Rick Russell and Bert Hooton and Fergie Jenkins and other guys. Hooten. Yeah. So the all-time record, by the way, is 22.8 WAR, the wartime 1944 Tigers, led, of course, by Dizzy Trout, Hal Newhouser, Stubby Overmeyer. I'm not going to go that high, but, and it's annoying because 1973 was the first year of the DH, so I couldn't say DH era, and I couldn't do divisional era. So I just said more than half a century, but that'll work. Okay, back to Baumann.
I'm glad you did all the research for that, because that was definitely going to be...
Or at least outsourced it to Michael Mountain.
Yeah, you outsourced it to one of your devoted fans, because that was definitely going to be more annoying to figure out what the bar was.
Didn't want to make Chris have to do the work, so I made Mountain do it instead. Okay.
All right. So I've actually continued to improvise, because I had this list of, broadly speaking, judicious, objective predictions, and I found myself getting bored. So I'm pulling in for my reserve army.
I knew you couldn't be conventional conservative Mr. Chalk Michael Baumann for this entire episode. I say that after you made a prediction related to fan fiction, erotic fan fiction about a manager.
You know how last year apparently Bryce Harper got into it with a member of MLB's staff? Mm-hmm. While they were touring the clubhouse. My prediction is that this year, someone will actually physically assault one of Rob Manfred's clubhouse emissaries. And so assault here in the broadest form of the word. I'm not saying he actually hits him with a bat or causes grievous bodily harm. It could be anything as a shove or a hand on the chest or the forehead to forehead contact that soccer players do. Any kind of physical confrontation between a player and one of Rob Manfred's mandarins.
So the confrontation was with Rob Manfred himself, right? Because
Right.
there was also Mark DeRosa was
DeRosa
involved.
was there. Yeah.
DeRosa made some comment that was maybe misconstrued. Maybe he misspoke. We know he does that sometimes, but
He told Bryce, we're definitely making round 2.
yeah, but the actual confrontation was with Manfred himself, right? So, but you're saying it doesn't have to be.
But that was just words. Yeah. Rob
Yeah.
Manfred or some other MLB executive.
And okay, and Chris, do you have any clarifications here, or this pass muster for you?
I have my predictions. Then there's a column that says trackable. So it's like it's full. This is implied. I just have sigh written next to this one.
This is going to get
yeah.
reported.
It has to be reported.
It will be
This is-
reported. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for there to be a he said, she said about, oh, it didn't actually touch them. And then one person saying, oh, no, he touched me. No, it didn't. But in that case,
I'm prepared to fight that out, so to speak, on a case-by-case basis after this.
I prefer to basically count it if they get to a he said, she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
I think I'm comfortable with that as a rules determination for this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go super bold for my last 3, or I'm trying to.
Do it.
Here's the first of them. Spencer Strider will get optioned to the minors.
What?
Boy,
Well, there goes my sub 6 foot Cy Young candidate.
given that every other pitcher on the team is hurt already, he really has to be
Yeah,
bad
this
for that
would
to happen.
be, I
It would
mean,
be
like,
catastrophic. I think people get fired if this has to happen.
so to be clear, this does not count injury. That's not being
Yeah,
optioned
yeah,
to minors.
no,
and it does not
option-
count
no
rehab assignments.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, rehab assignments are not when you're optioned to the minors. That's a different thing.
It's a different
Spencer Strider
situation.
still retains
All 3.
options. Yeah, he still has them because he's been so good. But I'm predicting that something will have been so wrong,
Yeah.
it's shockingly so, that they will option him to the minors to work on his mechanics. This is bold because it's absolutely insane.
It is completely insane.
I don't think
I
it's
don't-
as insane as you think.
Yeah, we do see this, like we see Kodai Senga went down, and
Yeah.
then, you get the resets like the Jake Berger and
But they're just so thin.
Francisco Alvarez.
This is a lot different than Francisco Alvarez getting optioned to the minors, though.
Yeah.
This is Spencer Strider. He has a giant contract.
Yes.
Given the way the rest of this episode went, I thought Giant was going to go in a different direction.
Man, me too.
I didn't expect this episode to be so horny.
I don't know what you guys are talking
I'm so
about.
sorry to all of our listeners.
Okay.
Oh, it's my
right.
turn.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Sorry, I'm distracted by my own nonsense.
My Spencer Strider's giant contract. Those are some tight pants he wears, too.
You're so tight. Oh, God.
This is like Arrested Development level of misunderstanding.
Okay. Let's regroup. Okay. We're going bold. A high school pitcher will go 1-1 in this year's draft.
Ooh. Now, I have no idea how likely this is because I have no idea who the draft prospects are, but
It's not likely.
based on the profile, seems pretty unlikely.
Well, I think it's very, very bold.
Yes, thank you.
That's
yeah.
what we're going for.
I thought about qualifying it and doing something that has literally never happened, which is that a right-handed high school pitcher will go 1-1, but I was like, it's bold enough.
I almost predicted like the top 4 picks will all be college shortstops.
Yeah, that seems closer.
One of the college shortstops has my favorite name in the draft in a while.
Rock Chalowski.
Rock Chalowski? Incredible.
There's so many gigantic high school pitchers in this year's draft. They are huge. They're all huge. They're so huge. They're like all 6'4" and above. It's crazy.
God. Savion Sims is 6'8".
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah. And also, how tall? I mean, just like, you might be like, oh, he's going to go 1-1. And it's like, is he talented or is he just tall? We always ask.
Has this happened since Brady Aiken? Is he the last guy, high school?
The most recent.
I still have the page up.
Wait, no, I have it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be Brady Aiken. He was the most recent. Okay. And then it was Brian Taylor in 91.
That was 2014. And
him.
Neither of those cases worked out so well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's never good when there's not a link in the in the table,
Yeah.
when you're
Or
looking,
when it says did not sign.
Yeah, when you're like, oh boy.
Fun fact, those are 2 of the 3 number 1 overall picks who are no longer playing professional baseball and did not appear in the majors.
Yeah.
Brady Aiken and Brian Taylor.
Sensing a theme here. Yeah. Okay. Well, Brian Taylor at least got in a fight. He came by it violently. So that's one way to bust.
Do you think he was mad that his name is spelled with an E instead of an A?
Does make it easy to remember. All right. I am going to go with my second Pirates-related prediction here. And this is probably not one of my bolder ones, but it's still less likely to happen than it is not to happen. So I'm going to say that the A's and the Pirates, who are two of the, hey, these are frisky, feisty teams. Things are looking up. Maybe they could make a run. This could happen. This could be a dark horse candidate, etc. Someone might even predict that the Pirates would finish second in their division and be backed up by the playoff odds. But I'm saying that the A's and Pirates both missed the playoffs, but A's hitter war plus Pirates pitcher war amounts to a top 10 team war total.
I like this.
So the A's and the Pirates project, I think they're neck and neck. They're 20th and 21st in projected team war, which is probably not going to cut it if that's where they end up. But I'm saying that if you take A's hitters, who are pretty good, and Pirates pitchers, who are pretty good, and you smush them together, then you will get a top 10 team war total. But all for naught, because the A's and the Pirates in this scenario will both miss the playoffs. And so we will just wonder what might have been if indeed you could have vivisected them somehow and turned them into one roster. And I think Dan Zaborski ran the numbers on that earlier this year and came up with an 87-win prediction if you actually did combine the two teams. But you can't do that in real baseball. But yeah, it's not wildly bold because they are projected to be something like 12th if you take A's hitter war plus Pirates pitcher war. But saying top 10 plus they both missed the playoffs, and the higher their war totals, the unlikelier it is that they will both miss the playoffs. If Connor Griffin makes Meg's prediction come true, then I think the Pirates would probably make the playoffs, though it sure would be something if he did and they didn't. But yeah, I think they will be a top 10 team if you could just smush them together.
Caleb Durbin will get at least one MVP vote.
All right.
I invented a tool this offseason called the Perdometer, which I tried to identify which players would
pull a Perdomo,
like where the next Geraldo Perdomo or Michael Garcia came from.
You mean Royals war leader Michael Garcia?
That's correct. Well, assuming Bobby Witt Jr. steps in a bear trap or something.
Not only injured, but violently.
I ran the Perdometer over Caleb Durbin, and it started clicking like crazy. And he has recently been announced as the Red Sox starting third baseman. So we are all in. He's going to hit 50 doubles off the Green Monster this year.
Yeah,
but that's not the specific prediction. The specific prediction is he will get at least one MVP vote. I
could even see a bold Durbin more productive than Bregman prediction. I also considered Okamoto being better than Bichette, but I'm not making it. Someone could, but I'm not. Okay, Ben.
The Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Sacramento A's, and St. Louis Cardinals will each miss the playoffs in 2026.
Whoa.
Who's even left to make the playoffs in 2026?
That's so fun.
All right.
This one is...
That's bonkers.
They're connected in a thematic way that I'm not going to mention here.
Give us the list again.
Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox. Mm-hmm. New York Yankees.
Okay.
So that's tough right there.
Yeah.
I don't love that part of this.
Yeah, this is incompatible with my 4 AL East teams make the playoffs.
Sacramento A's and St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are kind of a toss-in, but the others, it's not great. Even if you think that these are all independent and independently distributed, it's incredibly unlikely, but they're obviously not.
Right.
If the Yankees do poorly, that's really good for the Red Sox and Orioles. I don't even have logic for this. I just needed to link these 5 teams for my theme thing. I was like, crap, it's these?
Okay.
I don't know. It could happen. It's definitely technically possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost the opposite of my prediction, kind of. It's like only one playoff team will come from the AL East, probably, unless you're high on the Rays, maybe. But
yeah.
Okay, I want to do this one, but I wrote it in a dumb way. So we're going to workshop what I mean.
Okay.
Okay?
That's what Chris is here for.
Us together going to workshop what Meg meant by this.
Okay.
The A's rotation will finish in the fat middle of the league by FIP. What?
Middle.
What does that mean? What did I mean by that when I wrote that down? What is that?
The middle 10 teams?
Yeah, but that's obvious. So why did I call it the fat middle?
So they'll rank somewhere between 11th and 19th or inclusive or something like that?
Inclusive
Okay.
of 11 and 19th. 20th.
20th? Yeah. Okay.
Well, hey, Meg.
Yeah.
14 teams had starting rotations last year with a FIP minus between 95 and 105.
Oh.
So maybe you meant that the middle is actually like pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe I did. I don't know what I meant, you know? It's like the time that I wrote a note in my phone, make the baseball guys brothers. What? What is that? What does that mean? How? How do you
Many
make
of
them
them are.
brothers?
Yeah.
Impossible.
Okay. Well, we worked it out.
It's bold because that rotation is bad, and that's a hard ballpark. Although maybe I was just inspired because Luis Severino looked pretty okay during the WBC. I think I have some recency bias that is WBC inspired. Maybe.
So this is my final prediction, right? I've got two that I want to make, so I'm not sure which one to choose, but they're both NL East related. I guess I'll go with this one. Each of the three former Yankees closers on the Mets will amass more WAR than they did in any season with the Yankees. So each of the three former Yankees closers on the Mets will have their best season in New York and a better season than they had when they were with the Yankees by FanGraphs WAR. Clay Holmes has already done this. I guess he did this last year because he was a starter and had a higher WAR than he had for the Yankees in any season. But I'm saying he'll do it again. And also Devin Williams will, which you might think that wouldn't be hard after his single season with the Yankees went. But by FIP, he wasn't actually that bad. And so his WAR wasn't that bad with the Yankees. So he would actually have to really bounce back and be in fine form. And then Luke Weaver, I think, makes it harder because Weaver had an excellent 2024 with the Yankees and, threw 80-something innings or something. Like, it would be pretty tough for him to top that, but that's what makes it bold. And also, I guess, because he's the setup man, he'll maybe have a higher leverage index than he did in 2024, because 2024 he kind of worked his way up to being the closer by the end of the year, but was not for most of the year. And so he sort of earned his way into the circle of trust. And so if he starts as maybe the primary setup man for Williams, then he'll be in higher leverage role, and then that should help his WAR somewhat. So maybe he'll have a higher WAR even if he doesn't have better surface stats. But yeah, there'll be sort of crosstown rivalry, crosstown envy, Yankees fans looking from the Bronx, not that most of the Yankees fans are in the Bronx, over to Queens and saying, where were these guys when we had them? Or probably also using it to pump themselves up and say, see, playing for the Yankees, it's different from playing for the Mets. The bright lights of the Bronx, it's not the same as playing in Queens. If you can't make it in the Bronx, you can't make it anywhere, or you can make it anywhere. That's how it goes. Anyway, probably Yankees fans would turn it around from being bitter that these guys weren't better for the Yankees to use it as another example of Yankees exceptionalism and the Mets being an inferior organization. Nonetheless, I think that's what will happen.
I think we need to get Meg out of here as soon as possible. And also,
thank you.
Ollie has stopped respecting the podcaster's detente and is now agitating for dinner in a way that might be audible on the recording.
We can't hear him so far.
Michael's cat, to be clear.
Well, he's right at my feet meowing. So, all right. My last prediction is that one current MLB player, manager, or GM will separate from his partner, after which one party will publicly blame politics for the split.
You always have some sort of political scandal, political apology for a politics-related tweet. There's always something in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Stick
it was either this or Eugenio Suarez getting deported. So that's
Well, I'm glad you went with this one.
Yeah.
What do you know? What's your inside info here? Are you secretly a relationship counselor for Michael Elias or someone? Just to name a name.
I mean, I'm sleeping with his wife.
Well, it sounds like they won't blame politics then, Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think Michael Elias and I have different enough politics that he might.
Yeah, this is interesting because
I believe, I have a worldview that believes in sharing and compassion
How do you feel about trading for pitching? Like, what if you had to give up some of your own prospects?
in exchange for your wife.
My Google News alerts are about to get so weird.
So weird.
I think this will be less difficult to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this will be big news.
It's going to be much
Yeah.
easier than
All
the
of these,
the pedestrian getting struck by a mascot one.
Yes.
yeah, or the songs playing in the Phillies clubhouse or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like if this happens, we'll know about it.
or the Ohtani press conferences versus stolen bases. Yeah, this is
I think we should probably go to mine because I've got one for you as well.
okay. Well, this is usually if a GM or Pobo or whoever breaks up, we might not even know about that, or if we do, we probably wouldn't know why. So it would have to be some sort of truly scandalous situation.
Right.
But
That's why I said publicly. There will be, social an Instagram post probably.
yeah, all right, Ben.
A picture of a notes app. Phillip Rivers will not throw out a ceremonial first pitch in an affiliated regular season baseball game in 2026.
Does he often do that?
I don't know. Russell Wilson will.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wait, what? Phillip Rivers will not throw a ceremonial first pitch in affiliated baseball, but
Regular season.
Ceremonial first pitch.
During a regular season affiliated baseball game. So, a level of the affiliated minors that has ceremonial first pitches, which I think is
All of
not
them.
many, but all of them. Is it all of them? Like the DS, I guess maybe not every single one, but
not like the
there are some that I've
complex
seen.
league or the DSL or something.
Yeah.
But if there are fans,
Yeah. In any case, it's affiliated with the team, including the majors. Phillip Rivers will not throw out a ceremonial first pitch in an affiliated regular season baseball game in 2026. However, Russell Wilson will throw out a ceremonial first pitch during an affiliated regular season baseball game in 2026.
That seems right.
Okay.
All right.
Does Phillip Rivers have what percentage of the active professional baseball players are Phillip Rivers' children?
I couldn't possibly tell you, but I don't feel comfortable saying zero. Certainly wouldn't rule that out.
Okay. Well, this will be news. This will be publicly reported if it happens.
Sure.
So
It's
you can get
reportable.
this
I don't know
via
if
Google alert.
Yeah,
Chris,
if
I
there's a
think.
list of everyone who's thrown out a first
No,
pitch,
but
I think if
it'll-
you're looking for one person,
Yeah, Chris
it would
will get a
be
ping about
noted
this. Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be some PR person for Phillip Rivers that will make sure it ends up somewhere.
Yeah, right. I agree.
I mean, for Russell Wilson, certainly.
He's a grandfather.
Russell
Russell
Wilson?
Wilson?
No, Phillip Rivers is a grandfather.
Yes.
Just like, what?
That'd be quite precocious, but yeah, I guess.
Precocious is such a nice way of putting it.
Gives a whole new meaning to re-virginification.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I've-
This episode is so weird.
I know what theme song will be playing this time. Yeah. Okay. How many will Kyler Murray throw, I wonder? Okay. Maybe he'll be busy. All right. So this is our final prediction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a weird way that you didn't plan, Ben, we are coming full circle because my final prediction is that Vinny Pasquantino will use Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter as his walk-up song at some point this summer.
Delightful.
Yeah. So the second straight year we've had a Sabrina Carpenter themed prediction.
Yes.
Baumann would predict that he might date Sabrina Carpenter
Yes,
probably.
but Vinny is married, so I would never, not a friend of the
Well,
pod.
until he breaks up with his wife because of politics.
Well, that doesn't
No.
count. He's not a Pobo.
No, I said player manager or
Player too.
Yeah,
Player.
player.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more limited than that. Okay, that's more plausible. Yeah. All right.
Also, the number of times that I sang Graceffo, like I was singing Espresso during the WC. Graceffo. It's right there for me. I enjoyed it. It was nice. I didn't
Nobody
have to work
has
so
placed
hard.
a bid on the espresso machine, including Meg, while we have been recording this podcast.
I don't need that. You know, I don't. And
I'm not a big memorabilia person, neither am I, right? But
I have some stuff, you know, I do.
would be that'd be a cool thing to have.
It's just not a cool thing to display. You know
That's
what I mean?
why I think that the jerseys are going for more money.
Right.
Because I'm thinking of like the local car dealer guy.
Right.
Buying the,
Yeah.
Like you could put the Jack Caglione thing in a frame. Like the coffee machine just looks like a coffee machine.
It's not easy to find a shadow box for an espresso machine.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's also not a nice espresso machine. I feel like that.
That's part of the charm. Yeah, but you could construct a shrine of some sort.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I could imagine being like, I'll overpay for this espresso machine and I want a nice espresso machine anyway, and money's no object.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wouldn't get an espresso if that were the case.
Do you use it or do you just display it?
Right.
I would not buy it and not use it. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I would buy it and use it.
Yeah, but then I want it to be nicer than an espresso.
It is. I mean, it is amazing because they can do better, you know, and they have the money. Like at a Breville, I don't know, like
they could have had a barista in the dugout.
This is what I was saying.
I think the jankiness, the low budget jankiness of it was part of the charm, though. But I agree with you for next time.
Does anyone have $3,000 they want to give me so I can buy this espresso machine?
All right. The one that I wanted to do or considered doing was that Jurickson Profar would outwar his replacements at DH for the Braves, or maybe even to be bold, DH and left field, because that's conceivable possibly too.
That's quite rude.
We got Dominic Smith and Mike Yastrzemski right now. I'm not sure. And I guess technically it's like, if you don't play, do you have 0 WAR or do you have no WAR? Is it undefined or is it a 0? I don't know, but you all know what I meant. And maybe that makes sense because if he has replacement level players, they would in fact be replacing him. So that was my last cut that I kind of wanted to squeeze in there. So that's a bonus for everyone. But this was great. I think we got some good predictions here. I'm surprised that I got all the predictions that I wanted. I thought we were going to have to fight over some or that we would end up with sort of similar ones, but we didn't. Shockingly, no one else had the Tony Vitello AO3 prediction.
Well, you guys were all interested in the Pirates.
Yeah.
I guess I had a Pirates prediction too. Very Pirates heavy.
I'm surprised we had no other challenge system ones. I thought just because it's so top of the mind, we would have.
I completely forgot that the challenge system was happening when I was making this list.
I think every AL Central team is in here except the Twins, and I don't know how to feel about that. But
yeah, sorry.
We wanted to liberate you if you wanted to be, you know, like you end up having to track so much of this. We didn't want to.
Very desired, I think, at this moment. You don't want to. I don't want to go up on that rant at this moment.
I think we've all been pretty clear about our predictions, and also they're trackable. You won't have to do too much math, probably. Famous last words, but yeah, compared to past years. So please remind everyone where to go, what to do, because I know you want more people participating. Every year we've done this, we've had more people voting, and it's more fun for everyone. Yes. Perhaps voters, but also for us when this becomes a big group activity.
Yes. You go right now, go to ewstats.com and fill out your ballot. You must do so before quote unquote real opening day at first pitch. We had over 1,500 submissions last season. Our goal this season is 1,800. I'm going to be very annoying on Blue Sky, rooting for all of you to come and contribute. The top, you will all be scored, and there will be a leaderboard that you'll get a link to so that you can follow your own progression and see where you are ranked amongst your fellow listeners. And first place will earn free swag from the Effectively Wild online store. So get over there, make your prognostications or judgment of said prognostications, and we will be following this along all season long.
And I will link to where you can do that on the show page in the episode description. Would you care to tease a prize you have prepared, or would you prefer for that to be a surprise?
There's going to be a surprise. We're looking to do a thing for the top 3 listeners, but it is still being developed, but we're trying to do something a little bit special and unique. So stay tuned for that. I will announce it on the Blue Sky if that's going to happen.
Okay. And we will now each pick our doubt cards after we record, but we will keep those secret, right?
Those will be secret, and then you get to
disclose those.
So you get to dunk. You get to dunk on your fellow contestants at the end in the recap.
only you will know for now.
Yes.
For now.
I will hold that information very tightly.
Okay. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you again, Chris, for both originating this thing and also just doing all the legwork to make it so much fun to follow throughout the year. And we will obviously have you back on to recap it all when it's all said and done, if not before.
I say quite literally, it is my pleasure.
And thank you, other Ben and Baumann.
No, it's my pleasure.
The entire topic of this whole podcast, in fact.
Yeah. Wasn't your pleasure, Ben, huh? This was misery for you. All right. Well, everyone, please go vote. Make your voice and your assessment of the probabilities heard. And remember, a lot of these are bold predictions, or at least intended to be. Score them accordingly, however likely you think they actually are to occur. And Chris wanted me to relay his thanks, and I will also relay mine, to the two developers on the EW Stats team, Michael Fazio and Sean McNamee, plus Raymond Chen and Michael Mountain for their research assistance. Guess it's ironic that I alluded to MLB's partnership with a prediction market in the episode in which we're doing predictions and asking people to gauge their likelihood. But of course, there's no money at stake here. This is just for fun and bragging rights and pride. The terms of that deal, by the way, not entirely clear, but MLB will reportedly be getting something in the vicinity of $100 to $150 million a year from Polymarket. And this is not really a surprise. We had mentioned on an earlier episode that Manfred had already signaled his receptivity to this. Leagues have largely changed their tune, if not outright partnered already. MLB is not the first. The NHL, MLS, UFC beat MLB to it. Of course, a lot of media companies, news outlets, etc. also have partnerships with Polymarket, Kalshi, or some other prediction market. But you know it's a completely unproblematic partnership when much of the announcement deals with integrity concerns. I like this line in the Athletics report. The deal can be voided if courts rule that prediction markets violate state law, a league official who was not authorized to speak publicly said, confirming a report from ESPN. So that's always good. Hey, if our new partner is found to be acting illegally, then this can be voided. I guess that might be the case with many partnerships, but the fact that it has to be signaled here because there are still significant questions surrounding the legality of prediction markets, very much in flux, as we have discussed. Seemingly not a ton of appetite by the current presidential administration to crack down on these things. Donald Trump Jr. invests in them. MLB is positioning this as a proactive move to ensure integrity, but it's also making money. MLB has a memorandum of understanding with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which Rob Manfred says is an imperative step in proactively managing the new and rapidly growing prediction market space. Protecting the integrity of the game on the field is our top priority. By engaging in this community, we are able to work together to create clear boundaries with the goal of mitigating risk while providing fan engagement opportunities. Look, I suppose there's an argument. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer, your official prediction market partners closest, that MLB will have some oversight here. Polymarket and the CFTC are supposed to share info with MLB that's supposed to help flag suspicious activity, which, as we know, didn't exactly work perfectly in Emmanuel Classe's case. Polymarket's president of sports business told The Athletic, "We will work collaboratively with MLB to identify what types of markets pose unreasonable integrity risks for the game of baseball and try to get those out of the market, with the goal being how do you protect consumers." Polymarket supposedly has partnerships with companies that are supposed to identify suspicious trading activity. MLB said it would work with Polymarket to restrict markets that present an integrity risk to MLB, such as individual pitches, manager decisions, and umpire performance, among others. The league had already issued a memo reminding players that they're not allowed to use these things, as is the case with sports betting, which this essentially is, with some slight distinctions that the current case for largely unregulated legality rests on. The deal does not include minor league baseball, but supposedly Polymarket will work with MLB regarding any minor league markets, which, to the extent they exist, probably even more subject to manipulation. Anyway, I'm sure it will all be fine. That will do it for today and for this week. You can support the podcast on Patreon by going to patreon.com/effectivelywild and signing up to pledge some monthly or yearly amount to help keep the podcast going, help us stay ad-free, and get yourself access to some perks, as have the following 5 listeners: Rebecca Fleming, Rebecca Vaughn, Will Peckenham, Greg Padgett, and Kate. Thanks to all of you. Patreon perks include access to the Effectively Wild Discord group for patrons only, monthly bonus episodes, playoff live streams, prioritized email answers, shout shout-outs at the end of episodes, potential podcast appearances, personalized messages, discounts on merch, and ad-free FanGraphs memberships, and so much more. Check out all the offerings at patreon.com/effectivelywild. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can message us through the Patreon site. If not, you can contact us via email. Send your questions, comments, intro and outro themes to podcast@fangraphs.com. You can rate, review, and subscribe to Effectively Wild on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, and other podcast platforms. You can join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/effectivelywild. You can find the Effectively Wild subreddit at r/effectivelywild. And you can check the show notes in the podcast post at FanGraphs or the episode description in your podcast app for links to the stories and stats we cited today. Thanks to Shane McKeon for his editing and production assistance. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back to talk to you in the week of opening day.
Take me to the diamond, lead me through the turnstile, shower me with data that I never thought to compile. Now I'm freely out my scorecard with a crack-jacked smile.